There's an old saying in my country that fish rots from the head. And that's a perfect metaphor for, what is going on right now in Sony. Because we are seeing that leaders after leaders, are either being fired or being demoted. And, when it is you ask the PlayStation community that if they see anything wrong with that, they are saying no. They are saying nothing is wrong with Sony. Sony is perfect. That's good. It's good that all of these leaders are just stepping down and persons are getting demoted and so forth. I mean, these ponies are not seeing nothing wrong with that. Listen to what MBG is saying here.
You suck now. Why? You suck, Sony. Get it together. That doesn't mean they're fine, dude.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
They're fine. And I'm just saying because they're just gonna turn to you and be like, you planning on playing GTA 6? And it's like, well, yeah. Or were you planning on playing it? Well, I was gonna buy it on PS5. Yeah. Okay.
You all see why I say fish rots from the head? Look at how MBG is thinking. He is relying too much on GTA 6. I mean, think about it, guys. Sony right now is relying heavily on third party, and now their fans are also doing the same exact thing the company is thinking. They are not relying on their first party content. Everything revolves around third party. Now let's just say, just for argument's sake, that GTA don't release on time. Then what? It just goes to show how the reliance on these third party games would be the Achilles heel for the PlayStation and Sony.
Okay. What about Ghost of Yotei, Wolverine? You gonna play those games? Maybe, yeah. Where are you buying them? Well, they're PS5 games. Okay. Well, I could go to Xbox and play GTA 6. Sony. Just so you know, I could go. I could do it right now. I'll be done. I'm gonna sell my PS5. So just okay. You do that. Will you though? Will you? I hate to say it, but Sony can have the attitude I dare you. I know I'm just trying to see it for what it really is, man. I'm trying to see the reality. Dude, Sony could turn to you and be like, I dare you to go buy an Xbox to play GTA 6.
You see, MBG thinks that because, the PlayStation 5 Pro is out, that would, run GTA 6 at 60 FPS, and it wouldn't be comparable like the Xbox Series X. But the fact of the matter is this.
GTA 6 will run at 30 frames per second on console. Former GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 animator expects. And your best shot at 60 frames per second, maybe hoping for PC. GTA 6 is due out this year, and a former Rockstar animator has weighed in on how he thinks the upcoming game will run. Speaking on Kiwi Talks, Mike York sets his expectations after being asked if Rockstar will shoot for 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second for GTA 6. I don't know if they'll be able to pull off 60 frames per second. York says, I don't think so. I think they're going to be shooting for 30 frames per second and a lock 30 frames per second, meaning it never dips below that. They're going to try to optimize as much as they can to where it never goes below 30. But it can be bumped up to 40, 41, 52, whatever. And I bet you, later, once it's on PC, it'll probably get super optimized and changed, and new graphics cards that come out, you'll be able to run it at 60 frames per second probably at that time. Currently, GTA 5 can run at 60 frames per second on PS5. But let's not forget that the game originally came out on the PS3 back in 2013. So it's had plenty of time to be optimized. With the graphical quality we saw in the GTA 6 trailer, getting a stable 30 frames per second would be a minor technological miracle. I don't think The initial release, it'll come out at 60 frames per second unless it's getting those 60 frames per second by using an AI upscaler thing like the PlayStation is doing. Unless something is coming in and helping it get those 60 frames per second. York explains, I don't think it'll get the 60 frames per second raw out the gate on a base console. PS5, for instance, maybe PS5 Pro, or whatever, but I still don't think so.
So yeah, in a pony mind, nothing is wrong with Sony. Nothing is wrong. They're doing okay. They are going to get GTA 6 and everything would be hunky-dory. Ponies are doing more mental gymnastics than this woman. Today, however, we are going to talk about, the PlayStation leadership versus the Xbox leadership. We are going to see, at the end of the day, what did the leadership give, their fans, their consumers, and we will really look at the difference. So you know what? Let's get it.
This is a sickness!
Let's get it. So before we continue the videos, guys, remember that when these ponies go low, sometimes I go lower. When they bring alternative facts, I bring the truth. Not just based on what I'm saying, based on what facts and data is saying. So if it is this type of content interests you, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Now let's get back to the video. As a consumer, you really should not care about what happens with a CEO of any company who is making tens of millions of dollars each year. Really and truly, what you should care about is how they treat their consumer, what you are getting out of that particular leader or CEO as you experience your hobby. Is it that leader and that CEO is making your stay there at that platform enjoyable? That is what you need to ask yourselves. And it really goes to show that if it is we was to compare Phil Spencer against all the different CEOs of Sony, you will see very clear that there's a stark difference between Phil Spencer and all the different SIE CEOs. Let's think about what Phil Spencer did at the beginning of this generation. Phil Spencer and the team there would have been able to release two consoles, the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S. Let's talk about the Xbox Series S. The Xbox Series S was a console that made the entry into next generation very affordable for all. Of course, this console could run many games at a stable frame rate, and some of the lower graphical games at 120 frames per second. There are even some very demanding games that run at 60 and 120. So the Series S was a very good value for any customer this generation. They are getting an entry-level console at a very affordable price, and it's able to play all games. I mean, one of the talking points the PlayStation community used to use is that Baldur's Gate 3 on the Series S doesn't have split screen. Well, that is out the door, because recently we would have seen news that they were able to bring split screen to Baldur's Gate on the Series S, destroying that talking point that the PlayStation community had, that here what the reason why games are being kept back is because of the Series S. I mean, ponies, stop lying and just
repent, and thou shalt be saved.
I mean, a parent could buy this for their child, somebody who love gaming, who don't have the money to buy an Xbox Series X could still be able to play all his favorite games. So right away, we are seeing value for the customers. This is what Phil Spencer and the team did. In addition to that, let's talk about the Xbox Series X. When we look at the Xbox Series X, we know that the Xbox Series X was a beast in the sense that when it released at the time, it was the most powerful console on the market. Today, the Xbox Series X, 5 years later, is trading blows with the PlayStation 5 Pro. Think about that. A 5-year-old console is still keeping up with the PlayStation 5 Pro.
I need to get there.
Too bad. Only way to go is through the tunnel. They protect it like a portal to Valhalla. Near impossible to get through.
Well, can you help me? You seem to be...
So pretty standard way of playing. If you are on PlayStation, it will take a second for the 120 hertz mode to kind of kick in, whereas on Xbox, it is an instant switch, which just seems to be the faster way to get that going. On Xbox consoles, it always seems to win in regards to kicking in that frame rate. But other than that, enjoy some more.
Wow, are you guys seeing that? Are you guys seeing how the PlayStation 5 Pro is still being beaten by the 5-year-old Xbox Series X? That shouldn't be. Guys, it shouldn't be that the PlayStation 5 Pro is being beaten by the Xbox Series X, but this was or is the greatness of the Xbox Series X. It's still outperforming the PlayStation 5 Pro even today. The second reason why Phil Spencer is superior to the leadership there at Sony is because Phil Spencer went on a conquest to get games. Yes, we no longer have to go and rent third-party games. We now own studios, which equals a game after game after game. Yes, the Microsoft community currently, we are flooded with a plethora of games. I mean, who would have known Microsoft would have turned into being one of the biggest publishers in the world? So this is very evident, and we are eating good because of the choices that Phil Spencer and the team made here to give its community games. And that brings us to the third and of course not the least reason why Phil Spencer remained 10 years as the CEO of gaming, and that is because of smart decisions like Game Pass. Game Pass really gives back to the gamer. Now, we don't care how much money Xbox make. We know that as consumers, once Xbox is doing what they have to do to please their gamers, their fans, and let me just say that Game Pass is a love letter to all gamers. Game Pass is just killing it. I mean, so much so that even Reforge, who said that Game Pass is not free, is now saying that it is free. He's confused.
Devaluing games hurts gamers. That's what these Game Pass apologists don't understand. I'm just going to continue to say that when you come to the market and your hobby and your mantra and your outlook, your motto is, I don't want to spend money, you have no voice in the industry. You don't.
I mean, I was of the impression that persons who subscribe to Game Pass is paying money. They are paying a monthly fee. Now, all of a sudden, we are not spending money because we're not buying the game full price. These ponies are going nuts.
We always talk about speak with your wallet, right? Well, you're not saying much when you're basically saying that you don't want to spend money.
Listen to the salt here in Jimmy Neutron as he is angry that Xbox gamers has Game Pass. You know, we have Game Pass to play all these wonderful games, and given the economy, we are happy. I mean, right now, how much is a tray of eggs? $2,000 in America. These ponies have to choose whether to eat a good scrambled egg or play their AAA banger. Come on, ponies, eggs or games, choose one. You better choose the right one. But at the same time, guys, we are eating good. Now, if we were to look at the PlayStation leadership, we would see that over the years, they would have done their consumers bad. They would have done them the worst things. For example, they put out something called the PlayStation VR 2, and it was not supported well. It didn't have no banger to bring the people in, so much so that even a past executive is saying, move on. He don't want to talk about the PlayStation VR 2. We would have seen where it is. They would have raised the console several times during the lifespan of the PlayStation 5. Not only that, but persons would have said they buy PlayStation 5 to play PlayStation 5 games. The output of PlayStation 5 games in the last 3 years were terrible. But guess what? The PlayStation community have to like it. And this is what these 6 men would have done. These 6 men would have given the PlayStation community. And there are so many other things. We're talking about multiple crashes, data leaks, firing, a lot of persons layoffs despite being the number one in the industry. All of these things happen under the leadership of the these 5 or these 6 leaders here at SIE. So when it is we look at the differences between what Phil Spencer and his team did compared to what the PlayStation 5 leadership does, it's very clear why it is Phil Spencer is here after 10 years and why Sony has just keep recycling leaders. So ponies, continue to cry and weep for your boss. Guys, let me end off by saying this. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. And look at these ponies cry for dear, Herman Holtz, Jim Ryan, and whoever else is in the graveyard for Sony.